Once upon a time, there was a magnificent kingdom called the Kingdom of Light, where flowers bloomed in vibrant colors in every corner, and nature thrived with life in every season. This kingdom was renowned for its peace and prosperity, and its inhabitants lived in harmony with nature. In the heart of this kingdom stood a towering castle, hidden deep within a dense forest, where no one could reach it. This castle was a prison for a young girl named Rapunzel. Long ago, before Rapunzel was locked away in the tower, her mother faced a grave problem. She was pregnant with Rapunzel and going through tough times. One day, she felt an intense craving for a particular plant, the fresh and delicious lettuce that grew in a strange garden next to their home. The lettuce was no ordinary plant. It grew in a magical garden belonging to an evil witch named Gizel. The mother entered the garden unaware of the looming danger and took some lettuce to eat. Gizel discovered this magical theft and was furious. In a moment of vengeance, she made a deal with Rapunzel's parents. She would take the child as punishment for this crime as soon as she was born. Despite their pleas, Gizel refused to relent and insisted on carrying out the punishment. When Rapunzel was born, the witch took her to the tower, where she planned to use her long golden hair for priceless magical potions. Rapunzel grew up in complete isolation within the tower, knowing nothing of the outside world except what she could see from her small window. The wilderness stretched before her eyes, but it was out of reach. Her long hair, which shimmered whenever the sunlight touched it, was a source of magical power. Gizel used this hair to brew powerful potions that enhanced her strength and longevity. Every day, Gizel visited Rapunzel. She would call to her from the bottom of the tower with a familiar phrase, "Oh Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would send down her long golden hair, which reached the ground, allowing Gizel to climb up into the tower. Rapunzel lived a monotonous life, seeing no one but Gizel, feeling the days pass slowly. She sang sad songs that reflected her loneliness and deep longing for freedom. On a bright summer day, while Rapunzel sang a sad song at her window, a brave prince named Fedor passed by the tower. Fedor had lost his way in the forest during a hunting trip, and when he heard the gentle singing coming from the top of the tower, he stopped and listened. Enchanted by the beauty of the voice, he felt an invisible magic drawing him toward the tower. He tried to approach, but found no entrance. The next day, Fedor returned to the same spot, determined to uncover the secret of the beautiful voice. As he watched, he saw Gizelle calling for Rapunzel to let her climb using her hair. The prince waited until the witch left, then called out to Rapunzel in the same way Gizelle had. When Rapunzel leaned out of the window, she was surprised to see the prince instead of Gizelle, but she couldn't resist her curiosity. She let down her hair and allowed him to climb up. When the prince met Rapunzel for the first time, both felt astonished and confused. They talked for a long time, and the prince shared stories about the outside world, about other kingdoms and the people living there. Rapunzel had never heard of anything beyond the tower's confines, and these tales filled her heart with hope and excitement. As days passed, Fedor and Rapunzel became close friends. Rapunzel eagerly awaited his visits each day, as he came to tell her more stories about the outside world. She hoped one day to break free from the tower's confines and live her life in freedom like everyone else. Through their frequent meetings, love began to blossom between them. The duo started planning their escape. They knew that Gizelle would not easily give up Rapunzel, so they had to be cautious. On the long-awaited night of escape, as Rapunzel prepared to descend to the ground, Gizelle suddenly returned. She saw the witch Rapunzel about to flee and was filled with rage. She screamed in a terrifying voice and cut Rapunzel's hair to prevent her from escaping. Then she used her magical powers and banished Rapunzel to a dark, distant forest, where she would live in isolation and hunger. Rapunzel was alone and lost in the forest. She was weak and tired, but she did not completely lose hope. In the forest, she discovered new things and learned how to survive. Every day she remembered the prince's words and his bravery, dreaming of the day she would meet him again. When the prince discovered that Rapunzel had been banished from the tower, he began a grueling journey to find her. The prince traversed mountains, valleys, and forests, facing many dangers and strange creatures. On one of his journeys, he met a strange creature called the Wise Rabbit. The rabbit told him that true love could break any spell, and that he must continue searching tirelessly. After weeks of searching, the prince found Rapunzel in the forest. She was weak and tired, but the love that bound them restored her strength. Together, they decided to confront Gizelle and put an end to her wicked magic. They returned to the tower to face the witch. When Gizelle returned and saw the prince and Rapunzel together, she tried to use her magic to separate them. But Rapunzel, with the power of their love, was able to shatter the spell. Her golden hair flew into the air, breaking the enchantments that had imprisoned her for years. Gizelle fell to the ground, losing her power. After Gizelle's defeat, Rapunzel and the prince returned to the Kingdom of Light. The people welcomed them as heroes, and a grand celebration was held in the kingdom. The prince and Rapunzel married in a magnificent ceremony, and Rapunzel became the queen of the Kingdom of Light. Rapunzel and the prince lived in happiness and bliss, and their story became told throughout the kingdom as a symbol of love and courage.